Hi, this is Dr. Darwin Hayes with another edition of Ask Dr. Darwin, where you ask questions about dental school, about life after dental school, or if you have questions about your dental health and your oral health care, you ask those questions and we get those answers to you. Today, myself, the new dentist coach, is going to be bringing you a special segment during what we call DAT week. DAT week. So for those of you that are applying to dental school, you know about the DAT, the dental admissions test. It's probably one of the most coveted and most important part of your application process when applying to dental school. Why? Because it usually sets the benchmark as to how you may perform in dental school. Not 100% that way, but at the same time, it does give dental schools a better look at how you are with basic sciences, how you are with reading comprehension, and also with what we call the perceptual ability and how you kind of are able to move things around three-dimensionally and looking at it on maybe in a two-dimensional sphere of appearance. So we're going to be talking about the DAT today, primarily because of the fact that it's DAT week. DAT week, the dental admissions test. So again, the DAT, what is the DAT? It's a test that's administered and designed to provide dental education programs with the means to kind of assess program applicants' potential for success. And it's usually given, it's an exam that's given at test centers across the country, and it has a whole bunch of multiple choice test items. And I'm actually reading some information from the ADA, the American Dental Association. They have a whole section about the DAT test, and it consists of 4 actual sections. All right. Natural sciences, perceptual ability, reading comprehension, and quantitative reasoning. So usually before starting this process, you have to apply for the exam, but you also want to be able to have a guide so you know exactly what to expect for the examination, but also what the contents of the examination are going to be like also. So that's very, very important to kind of be able to understand and be familiar with before just going into the exam cold turkey. So let's talk a little bit about this upcoming week. Today is Monday, and on the first day of the DAT week, and I'm sorry, also this DAT week is put on by the American Student Dental Association, ASDA. Okay, ASDA. And ASDA is pretty much the dental organization for dental students, and also a component of the American Dental Association. And for pre-dental students, there's a membership. They actually have a membership category for those students that are looking to apply to dental school. In addition, of course, they serve as one of the organizations for dental students, and there's several others. But they're putting on, specifically this week, they're putting on a DAT week for all of you that are pre-dental students. So let's talk about the week, and then we'll talk about each day of the week as presented by ASDA. So first part of the week. On Tuesday, they have a tips for taking the DAT. All right? And they're going to outline all the different information about some tips and strategies. On the second day, they have some strategies. They have strategies for the perceptual ability section of the exam. On the third day, which is Thursday, they're going to talk a little bit more about how you can conquer the science and math sections within the DAT. And then they're also going to actually be having some giveaways and some opportunities for you all as pre-dental students to actually get some free study tools in preparation for the exam. And just so you know, the ASDA, American Student Dental Association, their category for pre-dental students for membership is about $68 a year. $68 a year. In addition to this DAT week that they're putting on, they also, with that membership, there's access to the website where there's a whole entire section just for those students that are applying to dental school. They give you a list of all the schools, all the 67 schools across the country and also in Puerto Rico. And they also have some different types of study tools. There's a study guide, as I mentioned, but there's also they also have some coupons and some opportunities for you to get some of those study materials at a reduced course. At a reduced cost for those courses. So the membership, $68. If you're a coffee drinker like me, Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, whatever. But if it's a grande, about $6, $7. You figure about 10 of those coffee drinks that you'll pretty much drink up in a month anyway. That's the value, that's the cost of the membership. But it has so much of a bigger value across the board. So if you're not a member of ASDA under their pre-dental category, it's something you should strongly consider because of what they do in preparation and helping students prepare for the application process and getting into dental school. So let's talk a little about this week that's coming up that you should definitely consider in getting registered for. The first day is vital information and tips on taking the DAT. It's a webinar, it's an online webinar that's coming on the first day, which is a Tuesday. And basically, the ADA is going to go over some of the actual general registration information on how the exam, but also how to register for the exam, how to take the exam, some tips for studying. And then also, which is I think is great, is to actually explain some of the common problems that are encountered by you, the test takers, right? And some of the most frequently asked questions. So just those tips and hearing what those problems that test takers have and some of the questions that test takers have also, I think it's that's going to be a great webinar to attend. So that's the first webinar on Tuesday. The second webinar is on Wednesday, and it's about strategies for taking the perceptual ability exam. And if you click on to the link under ASDA, you'll see that there's already a webinar created. All you have to do is log in and or join it, and they're going to talk about strategies for the perceptual ability. Something like this, if you were going to do it by yourself, you probably would have to be enrolled into a DAT prep course, which I strongly recommend. Again, you've never taken the DAT before. Most people haven't. So to be able to have some strategies, but most importantly have a guide that has questions and answers and old exams, old questions, so you can kind of get an idea as to how the questions are going to be asked, but also more importantly, know what they're going to be asking. That guide and understanding the strategies for the perceptual ability part is very, very valuable. So that's on Wednesday. That's coming up. And then Thursday, as part of DAT week, they have what we call conquer the science and math sections of the DAT. And again, that also that webinar is gonna highlight all those sections of biology, chemistry, organic chemistry, and then the math sections. I know most of us maybe have had calculus, maybe some trig, maybe in high school, and some different levels of calculus, but solving math problems that you're going to have to be able to do as part of this exam. Again, new strategies, some tips on being able to do such. All right, so those are the three sections. Those are the three sections as part of DAT week that are strongly recommended for me, the new dentist coach, so that you can really get in front of this exam. And what I mean by getting in front of the exam, I mean being able to really excel, really be able to have success with the exam. For one particular reason, I think, and it's my opinion, that the DAT is pretty much like your ticket into dental school. Why? Because the higher that you score on that exam, the more opportunities you have from schools that you apply to will invite you for interviews. So one of the things that you should do as part of your application process, in addition to preparing for the DAT, but you need to do your homework. You should be coming up with a list of schools that you're interested in. But also when you're doing that discovery of the schools, you need to be looking at scores that their students or that are benchmarks for that school as far as the DAT. You need to know what the average scores for the DAT are for that particular school, because that may be a thumbs up or a thumbs down as part of your application process. Okay, so consider making sure that you do that as part of your process when you're looking at the schools. Make sure you're looking at the benchmarks that are set for the DAT average. And again, all the schools will give that information in addition to what students have been maybe getting over the last couple of years in all the different sections, in the reading section, in the science sections, in the perceptual ability sections. So make sure you include that. But that's important to know, because the better your DAT score is, the more likelihood you may be a candidate for scholarships. And those scholarships are really important, guys. Why? Because of the fact that, dental schools are one of the most expensive professional schools that are out there. Depending on what school you go to, you can look at an investment of anywhere from let's say $50,000 a year times 4 years, so $200,000 a year, all the way in excess of $500,000 for dental school. Yes, $500,000. I have some residents in my residency program that I direct that have close to $120,000 each and every year for 4 years. You do the math, and you see very quickly that it's close to $500,000 for dental school. So it's a big investment. So any opportunities that allows you to get grants, to get scholarships, where your education, your professional development is paid for, is key, and it's very, very helpful. All right. So that's why that DAT score is very, very important, and very important to be able to use that as leverage for you as part of your investment. And keeping in mind, that's only for the 4 years of dental school. What if you decide to specialize in some specialty programs like oral surgery, endo, pedo? You may have to actually pay tuition for those programs, whether it be 2 years, 3 years, or in some cases in oral surgery, 4 to 6 years. So again, having that foundation where you have a strong DAT score and have a lot of opportunities where you're possibly being considered for some scholarship helps, because one of the number one dilemmas that a lot of new dentists are faced with right now is the debt, or the investment after dental school. It's so huge that it can be somewhat of a challenge to understand how to manage it. But one way to manage it is completely on the front end, which is doing well on the DAT and being able to possibly get some scholarships for dental school. So this is why I think doing this DAT week with ASDA is so important this week, guys. Get out there, go on to the website for ASDA so you can find out more information. Okay, the website is asdanet.org, ASDA, N as in Nancy, ET.org, and you'll find a lot of information about DAT week, but also other services for pre-dental students like yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email at newdentistcoach@gmail.com, newdentistcoach@gmail.com, right up here, and I will send you the direct link that ASDA gave to me and sent to me today. The direct link where all you have to do, well, it's the direct link, which is an email. I'll send you the email that they sent me. All right, it has all the links about what's going on this week over the next 4 days. So I strongly encourage you to do that. Have fun learning and getting in front of the exam. This is Dr. Hayes, the new dentist coach, with today's tutorial on DAT week sponsored by ASDA. I hope it's been helpful. And if you have questions about the DAT, about getting into dental school, about coming up with your list of schools, how to come up with your list of schools, your personal statement, trying to get in contact and networking with other people, or networking with students at different schools. I have a lot of students that I coach and that I mentor that would love to see and have you visit them at dental school, or contact them about their particular school and their journey. Again, shoot me an email at newdentistcoach@gmail.com, newdentistcoach@gmail.com, and we'll connect there. Thanks. That's my time. Take care. Enjoy. And good luck.